Welcome to Leading Life, the show all about living to the fullest and leading life on your terms.
You will learn tips, tools, and strategies for achieving total personal transformation.
I'm Bren.
And I'm Cam.
This is Leading Life. Hello and welcome to another episode of Leading Life. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in this week. I'm super pumped about this because look, this is our 7th episode. Like, we've done 7 episodes of these, and each episode's almost an hour long. So we've done what feels like 7 hours of content for you guys and like conversation, talking about this stuff and all sorts of stuff. So I'd just like to kick this off with saying thank you, because I respect you so much for listening, for joining us, for being, for being able to engage in this conversation with us, because not a lot of people are going to want to talk about the things that we talk about. And it's really I'm really pumped, really excited to have you guys. Cameron, how do you feel about our 7th episode today?
Okay, I feel really good, but like 7? It's 7 already?
This is episode 7.
Really? Okay, so we're already at episode 7. That's crazy. I didn't even know.
Dude, we're already tied with Star Wars for episodes.
Oh, snap. That's important.
Snap. That's important. Tied with Star Wars. Awesome. So, today's episode, I got a fun one for you guys. Well, this is a fun one for me anyways, because this is going to be, I think this episode might even be more of a debate, because I feel a certain way about this and Cam feels another way about this, and that's totally cool. Everybody's going to have their own opinion, and it's going to be different for everybody when it comes to this topic. But today I want to talk about habits, routines, and everything in between, okay? Your rituals, your schedule, your dailies, the things that you do on a day-to-day basis that make you who you are, that make up the results of your life. Because at the end of the day, it's those daily consistent habits, the things you do every day, that creates your character. And so that's really what I want to talk about today, and I'm pumped about it. Cam, how do you feel about habits or routines?
Oh my God, how do I feel about everything? No, I feel really good about well, it depends, man, because like other people, they don't like schedules. They feel trapped. They're trapped in like this schedule thing. It's like a path that I want to like go I want to go everywhere. It's like staying on the road. It's like I want to drive off road every once in a while.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, like, they're really important. Scheduling is really important, because when you schedule it, it's real, right? This is a Tony Robbins quote. And rituals are important as well. They literally make you who you are. Because without rituals, like, what are you? What do you do? What do you do? Like, what are your hobbies? You have no hobbies because a hobby is a ritual. You know what I mean? It's very important to do that. But for me specifically, like, I might disagree with a few things that he says, because, I mean, as much as I like scheduling and rituals, I really love the uncertainty of knowing, okay, where am I going to wake up tomorrow? This is going to be interesting. I don't know what it is. I just like that kind of life. You know what I mean? The life of traveling places I've never been to, trying new things, and not having to be in the same place every single day, that kind of thing. That's what I hated about work. You know what I mean? So
cool.
That's just me, though.
So this is going to be a fun little conversation we got here. I know what you mean, man, because it's and I said this at the beginning, it's going to be different for everybody. Some people are really going to love that, uncertainty and that variety and that surprise of, where am I going to wake up today? What am I going to do next? I don't know what my plans are for the next week or the next month or the next year or my life. Like, I don't know. So, and that's exciting for some people. But for other people, it's scary. It feels like the ground underneath of them is going to fall out, because they don't know what's going to happen next. They don't know, what their plans are for the week, the month, or most importantly, the day. That's really what I want to talk about, is your day to day, more than your week to week, month to month, year to year, because it's that day to day that makes the biggest difference. And so I just want to kick it off by saying we are habitual creatures. Like, we're creatures of habit. That's just what we do. And you notice this as we get older, right? I think the older people get, the more they get caught up in a routine. And the more they decide, this is just the way things are. This is just what works for me. This is what works best. I wake up at this time every day, and then I have my coffee, and then I read the newspaper, and then I go for a walk, and then I do this and I do that, right? And that's not what I'm suggesting you do first thing in the morning. But that's just an example of a routine, for example, or a habit, right? And we always get caught up into these habits. But what I want to talk about is how are we going to change those habits and those routines to get better results, right? Because we want more results in our lives. We want more of this, more of that, more money, more family, more happiness, more business, more, time. Time's a huge one. Everybody wants more time, which is kind of impossible. We got 24 hours in a day, but everybody wants more time. So what kind of habits, what are you going to do on a daily consistent basis? What kind of routine or ritual are you going to develop that's going to help guarantee that you're going to be able to achieve that result, right? Right,
absolutely. Well, you want to optimize your life. You want to make sure that every single day, every waking hour, you're doing something that is contributing to your future. And a lot of that will be your rituals and habits and what you do every single day, your dailies. Dailies are important, man. I remember we had this game called Habitica. You guys should check it out. It's amazing. It's funny we're doing this episode because I got into it recently again a few days ago, just for small things. I remember I overdid it. Don't overdo scheduling and dailies and stuff because you'll scare yourself off from the idea.
Yeah.
That's what I did, man. I spent every waking hour doing the same dailies that I did before. You know what I mean? You practice drums once a day. You're meditating. You're going for a jog. You're skateboarding. You're, spending time with your cat. Whatever it is, every single day you're doing the same thing, and it just got boring for me, and I just stopped playing over altogether. And I didn't go downhill or anything. I just stopped doing what I used to do. I stopped practicing drums every day. I stopped meditating on a daily basis, and it just kind of went downhill. So recently, I just started getting back into this app, and you should definitely look at apps because they really, really help. The technology nowadays, it really helps you keep track of your life and make sure that you're doing everything you actually want to do. Like we all want to, I want to meditate every day. It's just it's not instinctual, This app gives me a reminder to meditate. Oh man, I forgot about meditating. There we go. And it helps, but don't overdo it. That's all I can say. If you overdo it, you're going to be like, oh man, I got to meditate, I got to exercise, I got to cook food, I got to do laundry, I got to do this and do that and do this and do that. And then by the end of all your dailies are done, you're already overwhelmed and you just want to relax. You don't really want to go do anything, It's true.
So this is one of the notes I jotted down, okay? To routine or not to routine.
Why are you looking at me like that? I don't know what you mean by that.
To routine or not to routine, okay? And so, if habits is something that you do every day on a consistent basis, then a routine, I would say, is the order and sequence in which you do those habits. So, what time you do that habit, how long you do that habit for. Do you do it every day? Is it 3 times a week? Is it twice a week? Is it 5 times a week? Whatever. Is it once a month? Is it once a year? And so, to routine or not to routine, because what you're saying here is you really enjoy not having to think about the routine, right? And do the same things every day, because I agree, if you're doing the exact same thing every day, for me personally, the exact same thing in the same sequence, in the same order, at the same time.
I go crazy when I do that, man. That's school. That was school for me, and that's work for most of you. Every single day you're doing the same thing at the same time. Getting paid the same amount of money. It's bull, man. You gotta, I don't know, for me, some people like that. I need to be doing the same thing every day. I don't want any questions in my life. For me, I love questions. I love mystery boxes. That's what I feel, man. When I walk out that door, it's a mystery box. What's in it? What's behind curtain number 3? I love that so much. I don't know what it is, but I love surprise. That's why I love movies. That's why I love, the Call of Duty, the mystery box, you find a new gun. It's anything that is a question, I like that. For you, it could be, I don't like questions. They scare me. Curtain number 3, there might be a monster behind it. I don't even want to know. I don't want to take the risk. And I guess what I'm saying is take risks, because that will change your life. Because we talk about change all the time, but that's what it is. If you want something more, that is a change, right? So you can't be afraid of change, even though that change could end up being bad. Either way, nothing's bad. I'm on a rant right now, but nothing's bad. If something's bad, just twist it, manipulate it into something good. If there's a monster behind curtain number 3, you can learn something from that monster behind curtain number 3.
That monster could be your best pal.
Exactly.
You don't even know.
You just got to take those risks. You gotta delve into the unknown. Ty Lopez calls it the jungle. Life is the jungle, and what most people are doing is they're sitting in the cage and they're playing it safe because a zookeeper will come in and feed you. You know what I mean? That's fixed salary as a zookeeper coming in and feeding you. But really what you want to do is delve out into the jungle and get your own food, because that's more fulfilling. It's more of a challenge, and you're more alive when you do that stuff. Basically what I'm saying in essence is get out there and take risks and delve into the unknown. And I know we're talking about rituals and stuff, but that's part of it, because your habits and rituals, it kind of is the cage in a sense. You kind of want to maybe even just try other habits, try other rituals, or get out of your ritual for a day, and see what happens.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm literally the anti-Brennan right now.
Well, no, because what I'm saying is, you're right. There's good habits versus bad habits, and I've had this challenge with myself recently, because like I've always considered myself as kind of like an organized, routine, ritual, strict. This is the way it goes at this time of day. Like I've been like that a lot, but I fell out of that recently, where I'm kind of more flexible with my times. Like I'll still do the same things every day, but I won't do them at the same times. And one thing I try to do is mix it up a little bit every day. Like if I'm going to go for a run, because I want to run and do yoga and work out every day, I try to do that and listen to different music, maybe go to a different place, maybe try a different workout, maybe just do something different, anything different that makes it more exciting. Because it for me personally, it gets boring doing the exact same thing every day. But here's where my kind of conflict is in my beliefs and in myself, and I bet you have this too, Cam, is our research when we're looking up our mentors and our heroes and the most successful people on earth, they all say the same thing. They all say, I wake up at this time of day, whatever time it is. It's usually a lot earlier than the average person will wake up. Mm-hmm. And the first thing I do is this crazy thing that the average person wouldn't do. And then the next thing I do is this, and this, and I get it all done at the same time every day, within this hour, within this half hour, within this 2 hours. And then the rest of my day is like, it's a morning ritual, a morning routine, a habit that they go through every single day that leads them up, that basically like empowers them and pumps them up so that they're ready for the rest of the day. And they all say this, and like all my mentors say this. Like if I could look around and think of like one mentor who does not say, they have a morning ritual or morning routine of some sort, I can't think of one. You know what I mean?
Gary Vaynerchuk, man.
Gary Vaynerchuk, maybe. I haven't heard him talk about
one
that.
Thing. People asked him, they said, what's your ritual? He said, the only ritual I have is gratitude. And it's instinctual for him. He's grateful.
Yeah.
That's his ritual. And I think what he's trying to say there is like, he calls it DNA, like his whole like system, every fiber of his being is going after his goal. It doesn't even matter what time of day it is. His default when he wakes up is that. And what you're trying to say is that most people's default is not wake up and chase my dreams. Most people's default is wake up and go back to sleep.
Yeah, right? Or roll out of bed.
Yeah, exactly. So this morning ritual helps so much if you're struggling with that. It's huge. Because for me, like I've kind of conditioned myself to the point where I wake up and I am chasing my dreams instantly. That's just me. I don't really have a morning ritual anymore. I used to. But like he's saying, man, you do the same thing every morning that pumps you up. Eventually, you won't even need that. It'll just be in your head and you'll just do it like nothing. That's the best part about habits, man, is that it actually sticks.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is the thing about this daily morning ritual, morning routine thing, and we're just talking about morning routines right now, but it's like, it makes so much sense, right? If you wake up at 6 a.m., just an example, 6 a.m. every day, and first thing you do is go for a run, I guarantee you within a year, if you did that 365 times every day, you will be like a much better runner. Your health will be better, your cardiovascular health, all that stuff. You'll be a better runner. You'll be more healthy, right? It's just like, it makes sense. Daily consistent habits compound and lead to big results, right?
Absolutely.
And it makes sense. So if you were to do that at the same time every day, it makes sense. But I think that the difference between those people who will do it every day and they will enjoy it and it will pump them up and it'll make them feel good, versus the people who try to do it because they have to or they hate doing it, but they know it's something that they should do, so they get up and go do it. I think the difference is what you just said, Cam, is like they automatically wake up and they're on their mission. They wake up and they're ready to go, right? And it's that morning routine helps condition that, right? It helps you get into that emotion, get into that feeling. Like for me, when I first wake up, personally, my first thoughts go back to bed. Why? That's my first cause is why do I want to go back to bed? And I think about it as like, well, I probably didn't get a lot of sleep. Okay, excuse. Okay, well, my whole life I've always, been lazy and slept in. Okay, well, it's an excuse, right? And it's all excuses, right? But what I really want to talk about is like, what does it take to develop a routine that you're not bored of? Like, it's the same thing every day, but it's a little bit different every day, so it keeps you excited, and it's a routine that actually excites you and pumps you up, and it's a good habit, right? Because a bad habit would be, okay, I'm going for a run because I know I have to, and I did the run, but I stressed out about it and I hated it, and I come home and I was pissed off and I wasn't happy. Like, that to me is a bad habit. Okay, running for most people is a good habit, but if you go running and you absolutely hate it, and it makes you miserable and it sucks and you're in pain, and like, that's not a good habit to me. If I were you, I would change it. I'd be like, okay, well, what's my outcome? Is I'm going for a run. Why? I'm going for a run so that I could be healthier, I could have better health, I could breathe better, I could look better, all these good things. Okay, well, how do I do that and really enjoy the process every day? Do I have to switch it up every day? Do I have to do something that just excites me in the mornings? Like, what does it take, right?
Yeah, sometimes like it all just takes that jump start, you know what I mean, in the morning. And what exactly were you saying earlier? Sorry, because like I was just sharing the.
Are you not paying attention to the podcast while we are recording it?
Okay, all right. So for like 15 seconds, right? I was not listening to your voice.
Oh,
I'm gonna be honest. No, exactly what were you talking about, real quick, because I can comment on it.
I was talking about morning routines and like, how do we? I got a little bit, like, I know how. I'm going to tell you guys how. But how do we make it that the daily the daily consistent habits that we put forth, the routines, the rituals, whatever you want to call it, how do we make that fun and exciting and puts us in a good state to go after our goals and actually make things happen, rather than doing it because we feel we have to? How do we get to where we're doing it because we feel like we want to? Like, the difference, I think, is between someone who runs and loves it and someone who runs and hates it, is a person who loves it is running because that's who they are. They're like, I am a runner. This is just what I do. This is who I am. This is my health. This is my DNA. That, you know what I mean? Just like Gary Vaynerchuk said, I go after my goal first thing in the day because that's in my DNA. It's who I am. Right? Where the other person is just, they're trying. I'm trying out this new running thing. I'm going to try this. I'm going to see how it works. Right? And as soon as they feel that little bit of discomfort, or, I don't like it, or it's not working out for me, the habit doesn't stick.
Well,
right?
that and you can consciously decide whether you want to make that fun or not. Like Tony Robbins was talking about, or Tony Robbins has this thing called the quality quantifier, which I have talked about, I think, in another episode. I forget. But it's basically this like scale in your brain that you just say, all right, so from like in this situation, me running every day, is that from -10 to +10? What is that for me? For most people, they hate running, so they're just like, okay, a -2. I don't like it. So what are you going to do to make that a +10? Because you 100% have that in your brain, like, you can do that with food, you could do that with anything, exercise, your work. Just literally consciously decide what needs to happen in order to make this fun. All right, put music on, or go running in your favorite spot ever, right by the lake or something, if that makes you feel better. Anything you can do to make your habit, I don't know, more fun for you. That, and just focus on the outcome. I noticed for me, like, nobody likes like the exercise itself, the pain, but you really just have to focus on what's gonna be the byproduct of that pain, because without discomfort, you're not going to get anything like more. You know what I mean? Like how Tony Robbins' coach was talking to you. He said, "You're too comfortable, man. Like you're not gonna want to even push yourself if you're too comfortable." The reason Gary Vaynerchuk wakes up in the morning and it's in his DNA to just go out and chase his dreams is because he's got this goal of buying the jets. That is like in his head all day. He's like, I've got to get the jets. I got to get the jets. I got to get the jets. And the thing is that he tells everybody, I'm going to buy the jets. I'm going to buy the jets. I work harder than you. You know what I mean? He's just so proud of himself, and he's really just like, he's focused on his outcome. and he's obviously got leverage because everyone is like, yeah, right, you're gonna buy the Jets, good luck. But I think he's gonna do it, man, because he really believes in himself. For one, he knows he can do it, because if you really don't think you can do it, why would you try in the first place? Your subconscious mind is going to say, no, we're not doing this, it's impossible. So you first of all need to know that you can do it. You can run every day, it's physically possible. A lot of people do it, right? And why are you running every day? Those are like the two most important things. Is why do you want it so badly that you really got to want it badly? If you don't really want it badly, it's never going to happen at all.
Right.
You're never going to implement a new habit if you really, really don't want it that bad. Okay, I want to run every day. Why? Just to say that you run every day? It has to be more important than that.
Yeah. And there's a couple notes I jotted down on this topic, because my thoughts are, like, when I first started getting into doing more rituals and changing my habits and being more consistent, that's the first thing I did. Was I realized I could do it. Like, what inspired me to make that change was seeing other people already making that change, right? Because when we're just around the same people, the same society, the same culture every single day, we're going to have the same influences, the same inspirations, the same motivations, right? And what shifted for me was finding new mentors was a huge part, and reading new books, getting new information, listening to new podcasts, right? That change, right? And that was the trigger for me.
Well, expanding your circle of influence, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy important. If you're around people who just are not encouraged, they don't want anything more for their life, they're playing it safe, they're in the cage, not really trying, not even taking risks, you're going to end up being like that. It's sad but true, because the most powerful way of learning as a human being is just being around people. They don't have to tell you anything. They don't have to show you anything. Just you being around them, that's how you learn. That's how animals learn how to survive, man. They're in the pack. Nobody talks to them. No one says, hey, you know how to do this and climb that tree? No, man. They just do it, and they learn by that. Monkey see, monkey do. That's basically what it is. You know, you learn by being around them. So when your circle of influence is full of people who are just miserable and mean, judgmental towards other people, like, I've been around that. I don't like that. Like, sitting around a group of friends and that group of friends talking about other friends behind their back, you know, that right there bugs me, but that's a whole nother story. I just mean, like, being around those kind of people will bring you down. First of all, it will turn you into one of those people, and that's why I love living with you, Brennan, because when I was living with mom and dad, sure, mom and dad are cool and all, but they've almost just, like, given up. You know, this is where I'm at. I'm not going anywhere else. Sure, I might get a promotion in 10 years. You know what I mean? But you, man, you and I, we want something more. We're chasing after something more, because we know that if we work hard enough, we can get it.
Yeah.
And that's just, it really matters. Circle of influence.
Just look at our circle of influence. So, like, the people who me and you watch on YouTube, watch on TV, watch on, you know, social media, the people who we look up to, right? That's the game changer for us. You know what I mean? Like, if I were to go and hang out with, you know, the same group of friends I hung out with 5 years ago, for example, and I started bringing up conversations about Tony Robbins and Gary Vaynerchuk and Ralph Smart, Infinite Waters, Diving Deep, right? They'd look at me like I'm crazy. Like, what's this self-help, personal development, positive thinky, mumbo jumbo garbage, right? And that's literally the circle I had 5 years ago. That's why I was that person 5 years ago. When I shifted my circle, that's when everything shifted for me. But that was just the trigger, right? It was like seeing where it was better for people, like seeing, wow, these guys are way better off than I am. Why? Like, just seeing that drove me to wonder, why are they successful? Like, why are they happy? Like, I'm not happy. Why is that? Why are they happy? Like, how could I get some of their happiness from those guys, right? How could I get some of that success, some of that freedom? Like, that's huge for me. It's freedom. And so, okay, we got to backtrack.
Well, okay, all of this has to do with your rituals, man. The
100%.
Environment, people around you, all of that has to do with your rituals. Because if your ritual is going to school every day, you're going to be around some people who hate Mondays. You're going to be around the people who hate waking up in the morning, hate going to school, hate going to class, hate doing exams, hate writing tests, hate presenting in front of the class. Because that was me. That was you. We've all been to high school. Everybody hates it for some reason. Me, for some reason, I just felt like I needed to overpower their negativity with my positivity. That's what I did at school. I tried my best. I was like, you know what? I am my own person. This is me. You cannot affect me. And that's, just try that if you're around those kind of people. And if that's almost step one. We should have talked this a long time ago about, your environment, your circle of influence, and how you can, expand that and make it just a bit more positive, which we probably will do an episode on that at some point. But yeah, bring it back around to the rituals and the schedules, because we want to talk about how having a consistent schedule and doing maybe just getting better 1% every day. You know how Tony Robbins says that? If you get better 1% every day, you're going to be like leaps beyond where you even expect a year from now, 365% from now. Like, I remember watching this this commercial, and they were talking about how, like, if you drink a Coca-Cola a day, which most people, like a lot of people drink like 2 liters of Coca-Cola a day, that's like 600 and that's like 700, over 700 liters of Coca-Cola every year in your system. So they said if you replace that with water, imagine where you'd be. Imagine the energy you'd have.
Yeah, 100%. It's just, I want to help people to understand that you're not special. If you know what I mean. What's that supposed to mean? No, you are special.
We're supposed to motivate people.
What I mean by you're not special is, like, you can't isolate incidents, right? Just because, this guy's 90 years old and he's been smoking cigarettes his whole life and he's still alive doesn't mean that you're special and you could keep on smoking cigarettes and you'll be 90 and living healthy. Like, you're not special, right? Just because, you can't just drink Coca-Cola every day and expect to be healthy. Like, you're not Superman. Like, this stuff, these daily consistent things, the daily things that you do on a daily basis, they affect you. They affect you so much. Okay, you picking up your cell phone, like even the radiation from your cell phone, this affects you. Every time you stick this to your head, like this, like, it affects your brain. Every time every time you skip out on what you said you were going to do, every time you lie, every time you fail, and by fail I mean you give up, that affects you, right? It's not just some isolated incident, like it's just this one time and it's not going to affect my future. No, like, everything you do affects your future. Every little thing affects the future. It affects tomorrow. It affects the next day. And it's those daily consistent habits that compound. By compound, I mean, it's like you do it once today and then you do it again tomorrow and it doubles. You do it again the next day, it doubles. You do it again the next day. A year later, you're in a completely different place. Like, the smallest change. Like, we were in a talk with Justin Shank, a guy we just met recently, and he said, I'm trying to read 10 pages of a book before I go to bed every day. And he's like, if you think about that, 10 pages a day, that's, how many is that a year? Like 3,600 and something pages. Like, you just read like 10, 20, 30 books. Like, I don't even know. It's insane how much those small, consistent daily habits will affect you in the future. And I just wanted, this whole episode is just, how could we make you conscious of this and make it exciting so that you could develop a ritual? Like, first thing is you got to ask a new question. Ask a new question. Instead of asking, what do I have to do? What do I have to do to get healthier? What do I have to do to do this? What do I have to do? Instead, ask, what will excite me and get me excited about getting healthy? Like, what could I do on a daily basis that would be fun? I'd be inspiring other people at the same time. Maybe I'm getting a bunch of things done all at the same time in one habit. Like, for me, within a half hour, I run to the dog park. I do yoga at the dog park. I work out at the dog park, and I take my dog to the dog park. Right? So I got 4 things done on my list. I got 10 dailies, 10 things I do every day, and 4 of them are done within a half hour. And when I come home from that run, I am pumped. I'm excited. Actually, I get 5 things done on that run, because on my way home, I do affirmations, and I think about, I think about my vision for my life and what excites me, what gets me pumped about the day that's ahead of me, right? And it wasn't easy at first. It was not easy at first, I tell you, but I've probably been on that run like 50 times maybe 100 times, maybe 150 times. I don't know how many times I've been on that run, but because I've done it so many times, it's just automatic. It's easy. It's fun. I love it. And it makes me healthier every day. It makes me happier every day. My dog's happy. She gets to go play with all the other dogs at the dog park. I get my affirmations in, all my workouts, everything done in a half hour, and I'm happy. Right? Like, how could you develop something like that that excites you and gets you excited about change? Right? Because we think about change and it's like, oh no, I got to do this and I got to do that. No, like, how could you get excited about change? Like, pumped, like stoked, like whatever the word is that gets to you. Well, that's what you got to find.
There's only two ways, man. Pain and pleasure.
Oh,
there's only two ways to get excited about, or to like, there's only two ways to push yourself off the edge and get yourself to do something, and that's pain and pleasure. Yeah. I mean, there's obviously other things, like the 6 human needs plays a role, but that initial, it's like the energy is the pain and pleasure, all right? So you really want to run. Why? Okay? First of all, there's a reason why to, and there's a reason why if you don't do it, this will happen, you know? So if I do it, this will happen. If I don't do it, this will happen. Say you're 25 pounds overweight. Do you not like being overweight? Do you not like the look of yourself? Do you not like it when people look at you? Are you embarrassed of that? Think about that and just like let yourself feel really, really like garbage. Get disturbed with yourself. Be like, ugh, oh, I'm gross. I need to work out. You know, I need to fix this. And that right there is what a lot of people, it just gets people sad. But then you have to think about what is possible. I can lose this weight. I can be proud of myself. I can lose this weight. I can inspire others to lose weight. I can help others to lose weight. I could by doing this, I'll have the knowledge that it takes. You know what I mean? I'll be like, hey man, I lost weight. You need help? Like, I can help you. You have more energy. You know, you can feel proud and you could feel comfortable in your own skin, taking your shirt off or whatever, like going out in your bathing suit in at the beach or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so you really got to think about how awesome it is that you doing this, like how awesome the outcome will be and how you're just going to leave all these crappy feelings behind.
Yeah, like that's total clarity right there. It's the hell if you don't, right? You experience and go through hell. Like, I want you to like take a 10-minute exercise. You're going to sit down in darkness and you're going to meditate for 10 minutes. For the first 5 minutes, it's going to be hell if you don't, okay? Say you're overweight, you're not happy about it, okay? And we use this example a lot because there's like literally 50% of Americans are like overweight. So this is really common for people. You're overweight, you're not happy about it. Okay? Experience that pain. Like, a lot of people, they just want to distract themselves with more food, more television, more friends, more this, more that, just distract them so they don't have to experience that pain that it's there. Like, you can't hide from the pain that's there. You're not happy about being overweight. It's not going away. And so experience that hell if you don't. Take 5 minutes and experience, okay, hey, if within the next 10, 20 years, you know, if I continue with this, what I'm doing right now, like, where am I going to be? Like, what kind of hell am I going to go through? What kind of hell am I going to experience? Now, once you're really clear on that hell, like, I can't do this, like, that's terrible, I don't want that. Now you're going to go with the last 5 minutes of heaven if you do. Right? What's the heaven you're going to experience? The amazing things, the pleasure, the beauty, the pride, the happiness, the legacy that you're going to create by doing the thing, by losing that weight, by becoming more healthy, by just feeling more alive. Like, think of all the things that you could do with your life if you were just hyper, like just pumped, just like on top of your game, energetic, just ready for the day. Think of all the things you could accomplish if that were your state. So you could use that, you know, pain pleasure principle for anything. And this is something we've learned from Tony Robbins. And,
oh man.
But not only Tony Robbins, like so many people talk about this pain and pleasure thing because it's everything. It's literally what we do anything we can to avoid pain. Nobody wants pain, and we'll do everything we can to get pleasure. And like, even the people who say, no, I love pain, that's because pain brings them pleasure. So it's like, it works either way, right?
Exactly. So like, when that comes to habits and rituals, just when you think, okay, I can skip a day, don't do it, man. Do not skip a day. It is the worst. It's like,
it's the worst.
Okay, this is the analogy I always have, all right? You're working at a restaurant and the dishes are piling up and you're the guy who does dishes, you know what I mean? And you know what? You do it daily. You get the dishes, you wash them all daily. But if you skip a day, man, there will be 2 stacks. All right, if you skip another day, there will be 3 stacks of plates that you have to wash. Then you skip another day, there's 4. And really what that means is that your habit is almost like a muscle that you have to train. And if you stop training your muscles, you start getting weaker, and then you have to restart all over again. You can't just work out one, like, all right, so these 7 days, I'm going to work out so hard, I'm going to lose all this weight, then after those 7 days, I'm done working out for the rest of my life. Like that, it doesn't work. It has to be a ritual for you. It has to be. Otherwise, you can't stick to that. There's no miracle weight loss ever. It doesn't exist. It's hard work. That's what it is. Honestly, it's hard work. Everything boils down to how much effort you're putting into it. How much actual effort. Like, are you really just doing everything you can to get this outcome? You know what I mean? So do not skip a day, because once you've been doing this habit for 7 days, that creates momentum, and basically after every day it gets easier, After like 2 days, sure, those 2 days may have been hell, but the third day is going to be a little bit better. And then maybe the fourth day is going to be a little bit better. And by the 25th day, you're good. But if you skip a day after 25 days, man, those dishes are going to pile up, and it's going to be even harder to get up and do that 27th day, So, and this is something we learned from Hal Elrod, by the way, The Miracle Morning. Such a good book, man. And it's about the kind of morning rituals that you have and how to stick to that, because habits are difficult, man. It's almost the same. It's almost just as hard as getting rid of an addiction. It's so, like, it's tough.
Well, it is an addiction. Like, you're addicted to doing the things that you do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Like, you're addicted to your cell phone, right? You're addicted to your cell phone. You're addicted to the TV. You're addicted to the foods you eat. You eat the same foods every day. Maybe, you say, oh, that's my weakness. That's my it's the one thing that I have to eat is that chocolate bar. Like, you're addicted to it. You are. And you need to, if you want new results in your life, just change it. Like, just get rid of the addiction. And yes, it's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy, right? Like, it's not. And if you have that mentality, we talked about this on Morning Motivation the other day, right? It's not going to be easy. Like, if you're not, you have to remember what you're willing to and not willing to do. Like, if you're saying, oh, it's too hard or it's too easy, that just means you're not willing to do what it takes. If you're not willing to do what it takes, stop kidding yourself and stop dreaming. Seriously, if you want to, be the healthiest person in the world, but you're not willing to do what it takes, you're not willing to eat the right foods, work out at the right times, go to bed, sleep, like, keep a routine, all that stuff. If you're not willing to do those things, like, you need to either be willing to do those things or change your dream, because you're going to be miserable.
Yeah. In my opinion, it's like, you don't want it hard enough. You don't want it bad enough. Honestly, it's not like you really gotta you gotta want it so bad, and you have to really want to get better. You want to get better, like, because that's one of the greatest feelings in the world, is getting better every day. One of my favorite feelings ever is just knowing that today is better than last, and tomorrow will be better than today. And I'm going to go to bed tonight wiser than I was this morning. That's one of the most important things you could do, is just know that you're getting better every day, and that every time you try, it's not just trying and failing. Every time you fail, man, like, you learn so much. Yeah. You know what I mean? Every time you fail, it's crucial. It's crucial to get up and try, and then fail, and then try again, and then fail, because it just happens. Everybody fails, you know what I mean? But the idea is just to keep trying until you succeed. Persistence. It's one of the most important qualities that you can have as a human being, because all the successful people have failed. Everyone, man. The amount of times people like Oprah, Tony Robbins, Steve Jobs, all these people, the amount of times they've actually failed. Thomas Edison, what's his name? Colonel Sanders. Like, those are like the two big ones that failed a lot.
Yeah.
Both of them. They approached all these people, like, for investments or whatever, and they just kept failing until they succeed. A lot of people, they think that, all right, if I just try this little one thing, it's not really going to change anything.
But if I try and it doesn't work, then that's it. Like, I'm done. Like, I tried. I've given up. I gave it 5 minutes of my life. I gave it 10 minutes of my life. Or I gave it 1 week of my life, and I failed. And now I will not try again, because I know the outcome. I know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you just got to know that you could do it, man. And just... one of the biggest things I could say is just, you really, really got to want it badly.
Want it.
Like, it's got to be in your... Yeah, you got to have that hunger, man. Like, Gary Vaynerchuk has that hunger, dude. That's why he works harder than everybody else does. That's why he's skipping parties just so he can work. That's why, like, I don't know if I said this in a past episode, but one of someone's mentor, I think it was like Charlie Munger's mentor or something like that. It was in a Ty Lopez audio, and he said to the person, look, if like, as a basketball, I think it was a basketball thing, And he said, all right, so right now, someone else is practicing basketball. And once you meet them on the court and you're not practicing, you will lose. You know what I mean? So there's someone out there who wants the same thing as you. And they, like, chances are they want it more than you do. And once you meet them in business, on the court, or, you know, like anywhere, you will lose. You're not going to be, they're going to triumph. You know, they're going to get what they want and you're not. And that the idea, it's not to be competitive. It's mostly just to be like, there are other people out there who want what you want. Are you willing to actually get it? You know what I mean? Because the world is not a crazy enough place to award a bunch of undeserving people. You really got to deserve it. You know, like that was step 1 in the 67 steps, Tai Lopez. You really have to be worth it. You know, would someone bet on you? There was like someone's mentor. Jesus, there's so many mentors. But they said, okay, if you went to a high school and you looked at the graduating class, if you were going to earn 50% of the income, who would you bet on? You know what I mean? If I bet on you, I'm going to earn 50% of your income, that kind of thing. What kind of person would you bet on? You know what I mean? Would you bet on the person who's going to parties every weekend, or would you bet on the person who's skipping parties to like practice their craft, skipping parties because they're passionate about something? You know what I mean? You have to be that person who deserves it. Look at yourself. Do I deserve this? Am I doing what it takes? Am I making those sacrifices? And this goes in with really just forming a habit, because do you deserve the fruit of your actions? You know what I mean? Because with every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So when like, do you deserve it? Do you deserve to lose weight? Are you doing what it takes? Because if you haven't lost weight, look behind you and look at what you did. Have I done what it takes? You know what I mean? Because look at me right now. Because everything you have in your life right now is a reflection of what you've been doing. Yeah. And of what you can't be doing the same thing, because you'll just get what you have right now, right? So you have to do more, and you have to want it more.
Yeah, 100%. And you have to develop those daily, consistent disciplines. Like I said, like it's literally what it is.
It's true.
If you want it that bad, if you want to be the kind of person who someone would bet on, you know, if you want to be betted on or whatever, right?
Betted on.
If you want to be betted on, you're going to have to do something to reach your goal every single day, and you can't skip. You just got to show up and be ready to do it. Anyways, I'm going to leave you guys with 2 kind of bonus tips here, like 2 things that have helped me.
Bonus tips.
Like they've helped me a million when it comes to developing consistent habits that I love and that pump me up, get me excited, and give me the results I need. Okay, step 1 is really simple. In fact, it's called simplify. Just simplify it. Make it simple. Make it like easy, right? If your habit is to go for a run, you're trying to lose weight, and your habit is, okay, I'm gonna run down this street, and then I'm gonna go do this, and then I'm gonna go do that, and then I'm gonna stop and do a bunch of push-ups, and then I'm gonna stop again, and I'm gonna do a bunch of sit-ups, and then I'm gonna have to go and do some jumping jacks. I'm gonna have to run over there, and it's like this whole process that you have to think about, and you have to keep track of. You have to learn. Like, dude, like just make it simple. Like just run for dear life. Just run, sprint, go. Okay, like get a trainer, get somebody who, like, make it simple. If you have to create the workout yourself, right, it's gonna be a lot harder to do, right? That's why so many people work jobs, right? Because it's a lot harder to be an entrepreneur and create the work for yourself than it is to have somebody hand work down to you.
It's very hard. Yeah, no, I agree, because when you're living the conveyor belt work style, so like you just have to do the same thing. Comes in, you do okay, cool.
It's easy.
Like, that kind of job is awesome.
It's simple.
You do nothing. You're not even using your brain, man. That's the best thing. Like brain work, in my opinion, is so much harder than like hard labor. Like hard labor is easy. You do the same thing. You know what I mean? What do you? What?
Keep going.
Okay. No, but it's true. Like, yeah, I know. Yeah, we're running short of time, but no, it's very important to make sure that you're not using your brain power for useless things. All right. That's why a lot of rich people wear the same clothes every day.
Yes.
They don't need to think. Same black shirt, same jeans. We're good. Let's go.
Yeah, you know? It's simplified. It's quick. It's easy, and most importantly, it gets you the result you're looking for. That's all we're like. You simplify it and get the result you're looking for. Don't make it too difficult. Don't make it a million things that need to be done for you to be happy or for you to be healthy. Like, just do it. Do something simple and make it easy. And that's bonus tip number 1. Bonus tip number 2 is really simple. Set a timer. Like, I love this. I've been doing this a lot recently. It's like, oftentimes, you know, we think of something we got to do. It's like, oh, I got to go work out, or it's like, oh, I got to go run, or I got to go do this thing. Like, that's going to take so long and it's going to suck. You know what helps out? Just setting a timer to say, okay, you know what, for the next 20 minutes, I'm going to work out hardcore, nonstop. Here we go. And you set the timer, and then when the timer goes off, it's like done. You just go until the timer's done. There's no thinking involved. You don't have to stop and be like, oh, hey, what time is it? How long have I been going? Oh, what's happening? You set a timer, and it just leads the way, right? When you're on the clock, when you're under pressure, you will perform. Like, you will get things done, because it's like, look, I gave myself 20 minutes to work out. That's all I got to do for the next 20 minutes is work out, and then for the rest of the day, I don't have to work out at all, right? It's simple. It's quantifiable, it's timed, it's easy. It makes it easier for you to do. And bonus tip number 3, which I said this earlier, but just ask yourself a new question, okay? Ask yourself, okay, I've got my timer set up, I made it simple. Now, what is one thing that I could do to make this fun and exciting, right? Because when things are fun and exciting, we're going to be more inclined to follow through. We're going to be more inclined to want to do it. So make it fun, make it exciting. And, let's wrap it up.
We're gonna wrap it up. So yeah, go ahead and like roll the outro there.
Thank you, Chris.
So
rolling the outro.
This has been awesome. Good job, man. That was a good topic, and I'm surprised we agreed as much as we did.
We did.
For me, man, I love going crazy. I love the surprise, that the mystery box of life. You know, I love that so much. So,
and we could do, Cam, this is only episode 7, dude. You know how many topics we're going to be bringing up and how much we're going to talk about this stuff. I'm pumped. Thank you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for engaging on the chat. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for going on iTunes and reviewing the podcast. That's huge for us. You go on iTunes, review the podcast. It'll help us reach more people. It'll help us grow and just continue doing what we're doing. We're having fun. So take that, go use it, and we'll catch you next week for another exciting episode of Leading Life.